Hey everyone, I'm Naguura, and today I got an 11.2 guide for you. I will quickly go over what's new this season, and then I will give you an exact checklist on what you should do in week 1 and week 2 to maximize your player power. If you already know what's coming in 11.2 and only want to see the checklist, then skip ahead with the timestamps below. So let's take a quick look at what's new in patch 11.2 and which major changes we got to existing content. There's a new zone with a lot of new quest lines and outdoor content called Karesh. We get a new 8 boss raid called Mana Forge Omega and a raid renown track with it. The raid won't be available in the first week, but it will unlock on all difficulties during the second ID. LFR drops veteran track gear, so item level 668 to 691 and weathered ethereal crests. Normal drops champion track loot, so item level 681 and to 704 and carved ethereal crests. Heroic drops hero track loot, item level 694 to 710, and ruined ethereal crests. Mythic drops myth track loot, item level 707 to 723, and gilded ethereal crests. The raid drops new tier sets that are based off of your hero talents, so this means each spec gets 2 different set bonuses this time around. So 4 in total, so 2 for each hero track or hero talent. The catalyst unlocks when the season starts, so the second week of the patch you will gain 1 charge immediately and an additional charge every other week. We get a new M+ season with these 8 dungeons: Floodgate, Tassavesh Gambit and Streets, Halls of Atonement, Dawnbreaker, Arakara, Priory of Sacred Flame, and a new dungeon called Ecodome Eldani. This time around, 6 of the dungeons are available to be played on Mythic Zero during the first week of the patch already. Only Tassavesh will not be available as Mythic Zero dungeon. It will be playable in its Mega Dungeon version, and it will unlock from the second week onwards. The difficulty of the Mega Dungeon will be the equivalent of a +10 key, and it will drop hero track loot if you complete it on hard modes. It will even reward the equivalent of a +10 key in your dungeon vault, meaning you can get the maximum item level reward by only doing the Mega Dungeon without having to do any M+ key if you don't like the M+ system at all. Some more dungeon-related changes we get this season. The dungeon checkpoints update more frequently and have a visual waystone indicator now. So you can see where you are going to respawn when you release. You now need to start a surrender vote if you want to leave a key before completion. If you leave a key a few times without your group agreeing on a surrender vote, then you get a visible mark in the LFG tool, basically marking you as a leaver. You need to complete an unknown number of M+ keys to get rid of the mark again. Delves will reset to tier 3, so you have to level them up again. But this time around they will be uncapped in the first week, so you can unlock delves up to tier 11. But bountiful delves and the ability to earn coffer keys in delves are locked until the second week of the patch. Then we do get a new artifact cloak, the Rashi Reps. You unlock this cloak during the campaign at the very start of the patch, and depending on your role, you will gain different kinds of special effects, and you can add a special fiber socket to determine the secondary stats on the cloak, which can be freely swapped whenever. You can level up the cloak through a talent tree with a currency called Ethereal Strands. This currency has a seasonal cap increasing every week. You get the first 3 through the campaign, and subsequent ones can be obtained through delves, the new raid bosses, new Season 3 dungeons, PvP matches, or completing warrant quests in Karesh. Before I go into the checklist, let me explain something. There's a new permanent augment rune available this patch. You can obtain the rune in 2 different ways. Either you unlock it through the raid renown track, which will take 8 weeks. Or you unlock it through the new Zones Renown track, the Karesh Trust. You can get renowned for the Karesh Trust much quicker, but it's of course not necessary to do this. So whenever I talk about reputation gains in this checklist, just keep in mind that you absolutely do not need to do this unless you want to really min-max the augment rune, or your reputation gain, or you really just don't know what else to do. Otherwise, reputation or renown farm is 100% optional. So let's get into the checklist. For the first week of the patch, so before the season starts, the Darkmoon Fair is up, so make sure you get the reputation buff for all activities that give reputation if you care about that. Then do the campaign quest and get your cloak. Kill the world boss. Then level delves to tier 8 and do 8 of them to fill out your vault with hero track loot. Bountiful delves and the ability to earn coffer keys in delves is not available this week. So if you get a coffer key through some other means, make sure to save it for bountiful delves next week. If you want to use delves to farm gilded crests moving forward, then you can already level your delves to tier 11 for the next week. Then do all 6 Mythic 0 dungeons and 2 more to fill out your weekly dungeon vault. And then farm Valor and cap it to make sure you don't have to bother with Valor Stone's next ID. For upgrading items, if you're capable of farming the seasonal cap of all crest types when the season starts, then follow this chart. Do the weekly Karesh quests and the weekly dungeon quests, and choose Karesh Trust as your reputation reward. Get your new crafting spark, but don't use it this week. If you've done all of the above and you really want to farm the permanent augment rune or don't know what else to do, here are some very optional things you can do to min-max your Karesh Trust reputation gain. Complete all available story quests, read all lore books in Karesh, kill all rares every day, do all world quests. There's even like something you can do to min-max the world quest reputation gain. So if there's some world quests that have a timer that you can basically finish later, then you can wait for a reputation contract to be available to be bought. So if a world quest has like 2 days that you can do to finish it, or that you have to finish it, don't immediately do it. Wait for the reputation contract to be available in the auction house, and then go and do it afterwards for even more reputation gain. All right, now let's go into the second week checklist, so once the season actually starts. Kill as many raid bosses on as high of a difficulty as you can, and make sure to kill at least 8 bosses overall to fill out the vault. Then do 8 dungeons to fill out your dungeon vault. The max item reward is from doing +10 keys or doing the mega dungeon. Afterwards, farm +10s or as high as you can to farm end of dungeon chest rewards. Then do the mega dungeon version of Tessavesh, ideally on hard mode, to gain hero track loot. For delves, if you can farm hero track items in M+, it isn't worth it to do any delves, unless you have a best in slot trinket or other items you need. If you do need items from delves, you want to make sure to unlock Delver's Bounty as fast as possible. It is locked behind the second reward of the Delver's Journey. Once you have it unlocked, you can use a map to guarantee a hero track item from a tier 8 bountiful delve. You should also use your cover keys on tier 8 bountiful delves now. Then make sure you kill the world boss. Do the weekly reputation quest for Karesh. You can craft an item level 720 item now with 60 gilded crests, but double check which item you want to craft, because this might have changed this season. Especially weapon crafters should check their class discords, as it might be different this season with the new weapon/trinket set bonus combo from the raid for casters and healers. If you can, kill the last boss in the raid on heroic, farm 2000 Mythic Plus score, or gain 1600 PvP rating to gain a free tier piece. Alright, that's it. I know this was a lot of info and it seemed like a lot of things to do, but a lot of these things I listed aren't really necessary to do or only give you very small player power gains. So don't take this guide too seriously and only do the things you can reasonably get done. Don't stress it too much, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm giving you an absolute min-maxy kind of guide, so people that do want to aim for all of the things, then they have something to go after. I hope this guide did help you out, and if you have any questions, make sure to ask away in the comments below, or join my stream over at twitch.tv/Naguura. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and have an amazing day. Bye!